So it sounds like one of the things you're wanting to say to your friend is something like, I really value our friendship and I value you. And I really would love to find a way that the two of us can stay connected and come together through this really intense and activating conflict that we're in, where we're finding ourselves on completely different sides. Do you want that too? I might say, um, I want to have the experience of both of us self-managing and being able to really listen deeply and empathically to one another without getting reactive and attacking each other's sense of identity. Do you want that as well or not? Can we practice that or not? Or are you ready to walk away and you don't want to have anything to do with me because I'm seeing this differently? Like, where are you at? Are we going to work through this or not? I think that's one piece of the conversation. If she wants to work through it, then I think it would be something like, how are the two of us going to approach this conversation in a way that feels good to both of us? I would slow everything down right now, giving yourself some time to feel all the feelings, to surface the pain, to get in touch with all of the fears, to clarify inside of yourself the values that are up for you. I'm hearing a deep need for consideration and reciprocity. I'm hearing a deep need to be seen and known for the truth of who you are. I'm hearing you talk about wanting to show up with integrity and finding it confusing when values are lived out in one way that don't make sense in another way, and wanting to be able to have a conversation about integrity and consistency and where things are applied and where things are not applied. And there is the emotional part of the conversation. There's the triggered part of the conversation. There's the intellectual part of the conversation. But the learning and growth intellectual part is what I would put at the very, very end. We're not there yet. We're not ready yet for that kind of exploratory, let's think together, thought partnering conversation, because there's too much pain and distress and fear and anguish that wants to be metabolized first. And at the moment, it doesn't sound like the friendship has the capacity to be the crucible for metabolizing the quote unquote spiciness. So what I would then say is each of you go and metabolize the spiciness with people who can. And then when you can both bring a more resourced self to the conversation, I would do it in small bites, slowly over time. And I would keep the conversation focused. I would stay in it as long as I can, if I'm just self-managing, as long as I can stay in it with the kind of choicefulness, consciousness, and capacity that I'm wanting to bring that would be healing and connection oriented. And then give myself and my friend permission and maybe have an agreement that we stop the moment that we both start moving into our old way of being, which is argumentative, invalidating, one-upping, turning around, getting attached to something, overriding. Like, you could figure out what are the behaviors that are really challenging for us and hurtful. And when those start creeping in, let's pause. And then let's have some agreements of how we're going to have this conversation, if we're going to have this conversation. But I think each of you first needs some a different container, not your friendship, where all of that really beautiful, intense emotion that tells you about where your values are and what is mattering to you and what you're fighting for, you each need a place to metabolize some of that. Otherwise, it gets acted out